who the hell asked them to decide what's good for you? You know, who are they? Who are they who come to a judgment what will provide safety and security for you? Keep in mind, that's not their business. Look, I have an obsession in this place with one thing, which we need to find a way.
The latest battle Abe Foxman had taken upon himself against the anti-Semitic Polish dolls made me realize that his devotion to Israel is only part of the overall picture.
Traditional Jew, I would say even stereotypic Jew, holding a bag of money and a zloty. It's a good luck charm to buy people if they go into a new house or business because the Jews are so good with money. It is disgusting. It is disgusting. And now, in the economic crisis, you want to know how serious Jews and money is? Jews are money. Is that what you want?
But somebody's losing money. It's not a bad thing, you know,
You know what? We're in Auschwitz. Those are the things that paved the stones to lead to Auschwitz. Because if Jews have money and you can get rid of the Jews, you can get their money. What kind of a good thing is that?
Foxman is like a very sensitive radar for Jewish issues. The memory of the Holocaust is always in the background, like a warning sign of what can happen if things are not dealt with at the right time.
I want to ask you a question. Look over here. Do you see a Holocaust coming? It's crazy. There's so much hunger, so much starvation in the world. So many people are suffering. And you want me to get excited about some idiot painting a swastika somewhere?
Finkelstein lost his job at the university because of what he claims was pressure from the Israeli lobby. Then he was denied entry to Israel because he was, as the authorities described, a security hazard, which being Jewish himself is probably unprecedented. Finkelstein reminds me of the biblical prophets of doom, who were always being pelted with stones for saying things nobody wanted to hear.
One of the major kind of claims I hear from people like the ADL or, you know, other Jewish people is that, like, how come always people picking up on Israel? How come there are so much, you know, injustice, you know, in other parts of the world and nobody speaks about, you know? What is the reason for that?
I think people, listen, I opened the radio, I hear non-stop about Sudan. I hear non-stop about Tibet. I hear non-stop about Darfur. I hear a lot. The only place I hear excuses made for is Israel. That's the place where I hear excuses. And we do have to remember, it is the oldest occupation in the world. I mean, 40 years really is enough. It's older than you. It's older than you, the occupation. Doesn't that kind of stun you? The irony is that the Nazi Holocaust has now become the main ideological weapon for launching wars of aggression. Every time you want to launch a war of aggression, drag in the Nazi Holocaust. It's the suffering then used as another pretext or excuse to humiliate, degrade, and torture the Palestinians. That's the problem. The suffering comes as a package. It then comes, here is the suffering, now we blow up your house. Here is the suffering, now we take your land. Here is the suffering, now we drop artillery shell or shoot artillery shells at your villages. It's a package deal with Israel and its American supporters. It's not just suffering, it's suffering which is then wrapped in a club. And the club is then used to break the skulls of the Palestinians. That's the problem. It's not being used to educate people. It's not being used to enlighten people. It's not being used to make people more moral.
It can be.
But it's not.
I mean,
it's not. That's the whole point. Of course it can be, but it isn't. It's the best thing that will ever happen to Israel if they get rid of these American Jews who are warmongers from Martha's Vineyard. And there are warmongers from the Hamptons. And there are warmongers from Beverly Hills. And there are warmongers from Miami. It's been a disaster for Israel. You know, it's the best thing if they can ever get rid of this American Jewry. It's a curse.
For Finkelstein, Foxman is the main enemy.
You see? That's why you're not going to get like people's attention, you know, for things like that.
Some people laugh.
You comparing Foxman to Hitler, that's kind of...
It's an insult to Hitler. Hitler at least didn't do it for money.
Finkelstein took his own trauma as the son of Holocaust survivors to the opposite extreme. When I asked him if he had any sympathy for the Israeli victims as well as for the Palestinians, he compared Israeli casualties to the German casualties in World War II.
You know, you're funny. I have to tell you, you're funny. You come from a society in which everyone calls everyone a Nazi, right? They called Rabin a Nazi, Ben-Gurion called Jabotinsky a Nazi, Jabotinsky called Ben-Gurion a Nazi, Begin called Ben-Gurion a Nazi. They all said, each of them said, one is worse than Hitler. That's the whole language of your society. It's also the language I grew up with. You know, everything in my house, the food, worse than Auschwitz. The clothes, worse than that. That's the house you grow up in. And all of a sudden, you get so pious when they go like that. Your whole society is like that.